Okay, we're playing a slow blues on a 3-string cigar box guitar. Now, this lesson will apply to 3-string, 4-string, fretted, non-fretted, whatever. I've just chosen to play slide because it's got that bluesy tone to it, really, and this particular guitar has a lovely sound too. It's my old mate Nigel McTrustry made this for me. It's got a juju pickup in it, and it's got a lovely sound. Because it's all about the sound, it's all about the tone. We're making music here, it's about what it sounds like. Okay. So, maybe introduce an approach, I'm not sure, that is all about the sound of the note, right? You may have learned about chord shapes and about scales and scale shapes and scale positions and all those sort of things. And what they are, they're pictures, aren't they? They're visual representations of what we have here. A lot of guitar players use them because the guitar is a visual instrument. Another way to do it, and I think a way that's a little bit more difficult to start with but much more rewarding once you get it, is to forget about all that stuff and just concentrate on the sound that it's making. Yeah? Because it's music that we want to make after all. And if you're improvising on a blues, this approach will help. Right? Okay, so what is this approach? Get on with it, I hear you say. I've got a 3-string guitar tuned G, D, G, 151. Now the thing with that tuning is that those two notes, the 1 and the 5, designate, if you like, home base, the tonality of the space that we're in, right? We're in G. I can play that note as well, becomes a G major. That note becomes a G minor, right? But those two notes by themselves don't do either of that. That's just home base, right? So what I want you to do now is pick a note, say the minor third there, the big blues note, and listen to it as it connects and relates and functions within this tonality, within that. What does it do? What happens? What do you feel when you hear that? What is its function? It creates tension, doesn't it? That's what music does. Whether it's blues or whatever sort of music, there's tension, and then that tension has to be resolved. The blues is all about emotion. The 12-bar blues structure creates tension and resolves it again. It's all about those couple of cadences. It's all about tension and release. So have a listen to these notes now with that in mind. That flat third note creates tension, but what do? You can't just sit on the edge all the time. You need to come home. So you're playing a blues, you announce the tonality to start with, then you give me some tension, and then you bring it home. How are you going to make that a little more interesting than just two notes? You don't have to just yet. You've got plenty of time. Just give me the notes for now. I'm patient. I'll wait and see what else you got. Okay, you don't have to play everything in the first bar. Just give me that note. Bring it home. You don't have to start everything with the minor third. You can start with a different note. You can start with a riff. But don't do too much first up. Right? It leaves you nowhere to go then. Little tip. What we're really about is the sound of these things, right? That minor third creates tension that wants to resolve to there. Now, an exercise for now is to pick a few other notes and listen to them and hear for yourself whether they create tension or not, whether they resolve or not and where they resolve to. For example, that little blues I played before, played that Blind Willie Johnson sort of thing where he went from the 3rd fret to the 9 there on the 2nd fret. And then open. Yeah, so we can go 2 and 3. That has a function, that note there, and it wants to go back to there. Right? That's why it makes it even more haunting than just the 3rd, because it's got that exquisite, I don't know what, the je ne sais quoi, that 9 when you use it like that, back to the 1. Okay, the flat 7 there on the 3rd fret, middle string, also wants to resolve up to there, right? Listen to that, the tension that it creates. Just pick a couple for now. There's plenty you can do around this 3rd and 2nd position just on those 2 strings. So familiarise yourself with those notes. That one, that one, that one, and that one. So what does that one want to do? It does that when it goes up. Goes that when it goes down, so that's more resolving, that's creating some more tension, but it still sounds cool to sit there for a bit, you know. That on the 5th fret in the middle there, that's just the same as the open, so it just sounds cleaner when you slide to it like that. But this is not about me showing you licks, it's not about me showing you what to do, it's about you, this video. It's not about me, it's about you. It's about coming up with an approach where you can start to listen differently, right? Listen to these notes and listen for yourself how they work and what they do, and then you'll decide how you want to use it. The only way you will do that is by playing. Just sit down and have it a practice, right? Don't call it practice, call it playing, because you're playing, you're experimenting, you're exploring, right? Pick a couple of notes, just those 2. Listen intently to them and play with them. Right? There's one. You're not going to get a lot of variety because it's always going to want to go to there. The notes will always have the same function. But you can just play, mix it up a bit. Right? When you've done enough of that, your ear will tell you that you want to go higher now, right? So you do that, you go higher, just to the next dot. Now you've got a new note that has a new function. Okay, that 5 note there on the 7th fret sounds like it's resolving. Okay, I can finish my little lick there, right? So that's what you'll get when you look at all these others. Start with the dots, right? The notes where your dots are, because they're the most common ones. But don't forget the in-between ones. That one there in between the 5th and the 7th. Wants to do that, doesn't it? Also wants to do that. Also wants to do this, listen to this. Okay, it wants to go from that tense note to that tense note to down. So it wants to go all sorts of places, but it wants to go home. Okay, you're out. Okay, you're lost. Not lost, you know exactly where you are, but you're out on an adventure. And you want to head home. Okay, so think about the sound of the thing, how it creates tension and then wants to go back. Play around with it. Come up with your own ideas based on what you hear. Write them down on some tab or music notation if you can do that. Record it just for memory, but then you'll have so many recordings you'll never know what to do. The thing about writing them down is that it helps you remember them. It helps you remember the process that you're looking at doing. Just get a bit of tab writing down. Okay. It'll help. Promise, guaranteed, it'll help. I've done this for 1,000 years now. I know it will help. Right? Write it down. Then what you do is you move to a new chord, do the same thing, but now this is home base. This is where everything else connects to, right? So now that same note there on the 3rd fret wants to come up to resolve. And now this note here on the 7th fret, the 5, doesn't resolve anymore. It wants to come back to there. Okay, so all these other notes will sound different now around that. That can be for another day though, but that's what you do when you get to the new chord. For now, listen. Has to go to the 1, doesn't it? Exaggerate. Okay, there are other techniques too for resolving tension, creating tension, things like just, you know, what beat you put it on and exaggerating things and all that sort of stuff. We can't do it all in one go, but you know, the main thing is this idea about listening to the notes, right? Now all this is in my blues pack. All this and more, of course, is in the blues pack. Not quite as condensed as this either. It's a bit more structured, a lot more structured. But for now, that's all right. Just have a play, right? Just have a play with the different sounds of these notes and start to approach your playing in this way, and you'll surprise yourself as to how much more creative you can be. Cheers.